It's time for The King and the Cop with the legendary former MLB great Jim Leyritz. And with 100 years of law enforcement in his blood, Tommy Setner. It's all things sports, plus cop talk, current events, entertainment, and more. Joined by America's favorite Jersey girl, Robin DeLory. It's The King and the Cop.
Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd. All the Yankees out of the dugout to greet him. Just think of it. 3 Yankee right fielders. The Babe hitting 60 and 27. The Jolly Roger hitting 61 and 61. And now Aaron Judge hits his 62nd home run, the most home runs any American leaguer has hit in a single season. And the American League has been alive for 120 years. This is Judgment Day. Case closed.
Case closed. It's October 5th, and you're listening and watching The King and the Cop, and we got the beautiful Robin DeLory, the king, who knows how to run around in a big moment, those bases floating in the air, and I'm Tommy Setner. 61's done, and the Honorable Aaron Judge is the new king for the moment, buddy, and I know, Jimmy, you'll share that title with him because it hasn't been done in 61 years, and I'm not sure why all Major League Baseball is not celebrating this in a bigger way. What's your thoughts? And good afternoon, everybody.
Well, I think Major League Baseball, number one, it's not considered the home run record because of Bonds and McGwire and Sosa being ahead. It's the American League record, so it should be celebrated. But unfortunately, with Manfred, he does not want to have 2 leagues. He's trying to put it all together, and so they're not going to recognize it as much as they should, I think.
How come they weren't at the game last night, Jimmy? They don't even, for a minute, there's no photo shoot, nothing, zero from MLB front office. How about Mr. Torrey? I mean, anybody show up. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the part that I thought was kind of strange. But you know what? The bottom line is, the irony of everything that happened, the Marises weren't there because they got tired of traveling.
Told you.
And had other obligations. But it was, it was great to see him finally do it. And of course, what Aaron Boone did, the way he took him out was perfect. You couldn't have got it any better than that. And, happy for the guy. It's amazing that, when you talk about, we talked about number 60, we talked about 61 on certain days. It's amazing that 62 came on the day that the Yankees record is 99 and 62.
Is that crazy? I wrote that down. They're 99 and they'll probably win their 100th game today, but they're 99 and 62. I mean, the lottery players are having a feast with this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But the great John Sterling nailed it, and thank you.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So you got John Sterling doing the call, and if we had a thing of Michael Kay, they both said at the very end,
I know,
case closed. And I'm like, did they talk about this? Is this something that they both decided to do together?
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're best of friends and we're partners in the booth together. But that's who do you want to listen to that? And I thought Michael Kay's was all right, but I thought John Sterling is in the video of John Sterling doing it. He's shaking. He's almost going to have God forbid, a heart attack. But it was a great moment. And congratulations to the Texas fans, because there was a lot of Yankee fans there, but they really paid the respect. And it was pretty cool. It was a good moment. And I heard somebody say on MLB Network this morning, as he hit first base, you can almost see the pressure come off of his body and his face, and that had to be tremendous. Like when you hit your home run against Seattle and Atlanta, there's pressure on you to perform as an individual and to help your team. This was a different kind of pressure. This was a pressure that was just sitting on him, that every little kid was looking to watch. Everybody was caught up, and we were caught up in it. And the managers and the players. And he even said last night, I felt bad for my teammates because I wasn't getting it done. I was putting stress on them. And that was a great meet and greet at home plate, the way those guys reacted, the young guys that are newly to the team. And it was like I thought about you last night, when you hit that home run in 96, you had the young Derek Jeter jumping around, like the young kids today. And look, Jeter went on to be, one of these role models. But Jimmy, they say, and I kind of agree with this. I heard this today, so I'm plagiarizing. In New York moments, and you're a big New York fan, and you've been around enough, Robin, to know big New York moments. There was the year Doc Gooden had was incredible. You couldn't turn off the TV. Messier, with the Rangers, when they finally won the cup, the way he played. But people say this was the most watched and most exciting moment in New York sports history. Like, there was great team efforts. You could talk about Joe Willie in '69 and the Jets. But this seemed like the eyes were on this guy. And was it because he's such a great guy? Everybody was rooting for this guy. Nobody was rooting against him. Nobody.
Yeah, no, I think, listen, his press conference, he nailed it again, once like he always does. I love the fact that he was honest about, it was a lot more pressure than he thought it would be, because even when he hit a double, even when he hit a single, people were booing.
Right.
And he goes, he said, I wish he would have said, I'm still chasing that Triple Crown. And to me, that would have been kind of cool. But no, I mean, listen, he is the kind of guy that everybody roots for. He's that monster giant who is like a little teddy bear. And he's the kind of guy that, again, says all the right things, and very similar to what like you mentioned, Derek Jeter. Baseball couldn't be any better right now in New York than it is, because we have two teams going to the playoffs. We have the leader, the superstar of both of those teams. I said it the other day, are great young men that get it, that know, what? This is a sport that I get blessed to play, but I'm enjoying it with my fans. I'm part of it. Judge this whole time, signing autographs, not staying away from people, trying to concentrate, right, but really being part of just who he is. And it was great, like you said, seeing him round first base, touching home plate, realizing, what, it's over. I can relax.
You know this better than anybody. No player in any sport is bigger than the game. But for one moment, he was bigger than the game last night. For one moment, he was bigger than the entire game. And he handles it like such a pro. It's unbelievable. Now the next question, pal. What are the rumors? What are you going to do? What are they going to do? Because the first thing somebody threw up this morning as a cartoon is Judge in full-fledged Met uniform, number 99. You and I talk about the way that Steve Cohen is brilliant, that he could back end his deal and offer him something ridiculous. But I think Judge, as long as he's respected, and I'm not counting other people's money, I think he wants to be a Yankee forever. I think he sees, like you always talk about, they're like no other family. Yeah. Once you leave there, Pujols learned that with the Cardinals. There's no other family, and he needs to be. I think they're going to give him a big number.
I think the bottom line is, again, I don't know the legalities of it if they are allowed to do this, but I offer the guy an 8-year contract to play, renegotiate after 8 years if you're still able to play. But I offer him a 10-year service contract after he's done playing to be the Yankee ambassador for the next 10 years after he's done. And I think that you lay that in his lap and you go, you want to be a Yankee for life, here's your opportunity.
Right.
And put a pretty good number behind it. $360 million for 8 years of playing, $10 million a year for being the Yankee spokesperson for those extra 10 years, adds another $100 million to your contract. That money, that $100 million, doesn't go against the cap or the whatever you want to call it.
Luxury tax.
Yeah. Because he's an employee of the Yankees. And you know what? The thing that you have to understand too is your family is taken care of for the next 10 years after you're done playing.
Right.
And by then he'll have kids. By then he'll have a family, and that'll become more important to him than anything else.
I agree. Rob, I call you Cano sometimes, Robinson Cano.
Yes.
Your Mets are going wild.
Why didn't anybody let me talk about Aaron Judge?
Well, please.
Were you just going on to the Mets?
No, I wasn't. No, we're going to be back and forth all day. But go ahead. What do you got to say about the Judge?
Two things I have to say when you guys were talking.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the concept of having two leagues. Makes zero sense to me.
You think there should be one league?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second, why was the number so much higher for the National League than it was for the American League?
As far as home runs?
Yeah, they were all on the same 70 something,
Yeah,
right?
well, they just happen to be in a different league.
They play
That's
more
all.
games?
No, same exact games.
The catcher can.
It just happened that Bonds was on San Francisco Giants in the National League.
All right, so
And
what?
McGuire and Sosa were in the National League.
So why are there two leagues and why isn't there one? Because why haven't they changed that?
I'll let the expert answer. Why, Jimmy? Why is that? And why do you agree that he should go to one league, 30 teams straight up, or do you mess with tradition like that?
I mean, yeah, this has been a tradition forever, and it's kind of kept the competition level of both leagues as, okay, yeah, this is our division, this is your division. And that's the argument right now. Now that there's no longer the DH, now that the DH is in both leagues,
Right.
now they're saying, okay, you know what, let's just make this one big league, just like the NFL. But even the NFL has, the NFC and the AFC.
Correct.
Right.
So I don't think it's so much separation as it's just
Logistics.
regions and logistics. I mean, basically.
Yeah.
All right. That always just bothered me. That's the first thing I wanted to say.
What's the second?
The second thing I wanted to say, as a mother,
Yeah.
pinch me, please. Could you really ever map out a better story than that as a mother, watching your son basically be the most beloved person in this entire country for weeks?
A year.
No, but he is just so darn approachable. I mean, not like I could just go up to him and be like, "Hey, Aaron, how the heck are you?"
Yeah.
But you could just tell the genuine goodness on him. I mean, you could tell the genuine goodness on his face.
Well, he's a very Christian, raised a good Christian kid. I think he's real. I think that's why people appreciate him. There's a lot of stuff leaking out right now, and people are calling him the clean home run king, if you will, because people are upset that people are on the juice. There's opinions on both sides, but
I just pray this celebrity doesn't, like, could you imagine we show up, like in a few weeks and we're like watching all the news and we see, he shacks up with a Kardashian? I will die. I would die.
Aaron Judge.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Aaron Judge with a reality star, Jeter did it, or A-Rod did it.
Well, Jimmy,
Please, Aaron, stay the way you are. Don't go changing.
Jimmy, when you want to sing that Billy Joel
Oh, I
song?
was going to say that.
Jimmy, better than anybody, after finally winning in '96, you guys were on Letterman, Regis,
and you didn't even have social media back then. Can you imagine?
Right.
The TikToks, the lives, everyone knowing everything about everything, like, because it's all there.
And that works both ways. That makes the sneaking around or all these other things that you're talking
Harder.
about much more difficult to do. And I think Tiger Woods is an example of that. You know what? Just
100%.
be careful what you're doing. And again, Aaron Judge shows none of that type of personality. But listen, sometimes you get caught up in it. You pray to God that he doesn't. But you also look at the family,
Right.
and you realize, what? He's got a pretty good background, and they'll keep him pretty much level-headed. And
I sure hope so, because this is fame is. I mean, I know I can't even walk outside. It's uncanny. It's like
You're such a celebrity.
there's paparazzi. Could you imagine if you were Aaron Judge
Right.
and you were like it's got to be a drug that is very hard to not have change you. You know what I mean? For lack of a better word, that was my feeling about Aaron Judge as a mother. I'm sorry, but that's how I felt. You guys can talk, about stats and all those wonderful things that people that really understand the game. But coming from my perspective, I like this kid so much. And I am so worried that this crazy ass world is going to taint that little baby boy who made us so. Listen, Jimmy, when you see him next, just tell him, because I'm sure there's a million things you could say, but just remember, just say my friend Robin told you not to change. Please do that for me.
I posted a picture. I posted a picture today on our site, Jimmy, and it's an old picture of Roger Maris, Yogi Berra.
Oh, let's show it.
Let's show it. All
ready for this, Jimmy? Look at this.
So you see the picture, Jimmy?
Can you see it, James?
It's trying to come up. It's not coming up yet.
Okay, so it's a
There
picture
it
of
is.
Roger. All right, Roger
Yep,
Maris,
I see it.
ear to ear, Mickey, and Yogi. And to Robin's point, what a great photo that is. But look at Mickey's right arm. There's always a blonde bombshell hiding. And like the Mick just couldn't get away from that. And there was no social media back then. But that was Mickey's life. Roger Maris, clean.
Look how cute Yogi Berra, a little
Yogi,
Italian.
Loved his wife.
I love him.
And here's the Mick. And they didn't get the girl out of there in time, I guess, because it's not his wife, that's for sure.
And you know what strikes me funny is they're riding public transportation.
Well, back then, that's what they did.
No Ubers.
No Uber. Trains and buses was how the team traveled.
Wow.
So think about that.
And they traveled wearing suits to each game?
Always.
Love it.
Always. Did you guys ever have to, Jimmy, or was it done away with by the time you got up to the big leagues?
We always had to have jackets on. Ties we didn't do so much, but we always had to have a jacket on.
Right.
Nice.
Now they wear their pajamas. But anyway,
don't go changing, Judge,
don't
to try
go
to please
change.
me.
The Mets fans are going wild because we're going wild card, but the two sons in this house are depressed.
Now, what happened with Atlanta? So right before I was at dinner yesterday, they said something has to happen.
Yeah, Atlanta won, and they won. They won the Eastern Division for the 5th year in a row in the National League.
So how come I didn't hear any banging on the walls or
remotes
flying?
I wanted to go take their pulse. They knew Sunday night it was over.
Oh, so it's over for the Mets.
It's over.
But they're not in the playoffs?
They are. They're in. Jimmy said he's going Friday.
That's
right.
The Mets have to play the 3-game wild card starting on Friday. One of the advantages, they do have home field advantage, so they'll play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 games at home, which, of course, Steve Cohen is extremely happy because now they get 3 more dates. But, yeah, I mean, Citi Field will be rocking this weekend. Because the Mets have this opportunity. It would have been nice.
We were bumped. We were supposed to go to the game. For a birthday present for Joey, we were giving him, and we were bumped because we were basically told you can pay for the tickets, but you can't come.
Well, I know what the Mets need, and I want to bring this next guest on right now because she's in our waiting room, and we're going to get our groove on with Jen Groover, entrepreneur, famous Philly girl. And motivational speaker, Miss Jen. How are you? Robin and
Great.
Jimmy,
how are you?
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. We're talking a little baseball right now, and you're a Philly girl. You got to be happy your Phillies are in too.
Yeah, first time in a long time. It's good stuff. Everybody's excited. Eagles are doing great. Now we have Red October, and Sixers are about to begin too. So Philly's a very happy fan city right now.
Yeah, Philly. So you're on New Jersey with us. And of course, I joke around because we're northern New Jersey based and we love the Jersey Shore. But then you get past that Jersey Shore and we call them the 609ers. And they're all Phillies fans and Eagles fans, but they're part of our audience as part of New Jersey. But Jen, we were talking about the Mets. They had a 10.5 game lead, and the Phillies were fighting with them, and the Braves were fighting. And finally, the Braves win. And I want you to talk about, you have this great book, and it's, what if and why not? And I think the Mets fans are starting to say, why not? I mean, what do you say to a team that was winning all year and now is still in the playoffs? What kind of motivation do these grown men need at this point? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, I mean, so much of everything we do is psychological, and in sports, you can see it the most. You can actually see the playing out of someone's psychological state unravel or stay in a zone. Roy Halladay did one of the best interviews I've ever heard. And he's actually, he wasn't a type of personality that liked to do interviews. He was very shy, which I thought was amazing from a psychological state, that you're pitching in front of stadiums filled with people, all eyes on you, but yet you're really shy. But he told the story about how when he was starting and climbing the minors and then quickly got into the majors, and he was doing so well. And then a lot of people got in his head, like, who do you think you are? And you're so young. And he started questioning himself. And as his psychological state changed, questioning himself, so did his game start to deteriorate. And he went back into the minors because he was still training physiologically the same. His physiological state did not change. His mental state changed, which made his physiological state change, and went back to the minors, wound up getting himself a mindset coach to psychologically get back into the game. And as we know, he went on to be a Cy Young Award winner 2 times in a row, which was incredibly impressive, and retired early, and unfortunately had a early death as well. But the story was so impressive because he really demonstrated for everybody listening how I was doing the same exact physiological training, the same exact eating, the same exact everything, except for my brain wasn't in alignment with what I was trying to accomplish. And so everybody at every stage of life can always use a coach in mindset training. But if you're finding that you're stuck, or you're getting in your head and you're unraveling, like a lot of athletes can do, or even you're in business, there's a lot of people I coach in business, their beliefs around lack and scarcity around money or success keep them stuck from what they really want to accomplish, because they think, well, why me? Which goes into your original question, why not me?
Why not?
Jen, this is so interesting, because as a woman, I think you can even add more pressure on top of yourself, because the way, I'm sorry, but women we were just kind of raised to have some more obstacles, right? In terms of psychologically getting in our own head. Yes. With that being said, I feel like how do you unstuck yourself, right? I know that's not a word, I just made it up, but how do you unstick yourself so that, because I live so much, and my friends too, we talk about it all the time, being stuck in your own head and in your life because of motherhood, of, relationships. And then, here I am on a sports show, Jen. I don't know the difference between a home run and a touchdown. You want to talk about stuck? What do you do? Do you just flip tables and make a complete exit and change? That's so scary. I need you, Jen. I need you.
Well, this could be like an hour keynote.
I need this
right
book.
But I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. So I actually came out with a book a year and a half ago called The Moore Method, which breaks it down in an acronym of how to get out of your head, deteriorate your negative beliefs, and create new beliefs that align with your desires. But there's a couple big things here. 2006, when I was launching a handbag company, an innovation handbag company, I was a new mom of twins. They were toddlers. I was overwhelmed, but I had this vision and I had this desire. And I learned at that time that women were creating less than 1% of the wealth in the United States of America. And I was baffled by this. Like, why? And I started to analyze this. My degree's in psychology, and I'm analyzing this. And it wasn't that women were going to college less; they were going to college equal. And this is wealth creation, so it's not job cap. But it was this belief that if I'm too successful, I'm not a good parent. If I'm too successful, I'm not going to be a good spouse, or people are going to want too much from me. That was a big one. And so what needs to happen is the beliefs have to change. So we can't change our behaviors without changing our beliefs. It's like, why is the gym crowded on January 1st every year with everyone with good intentions? By January 21st, it's completely empty again because no one changed their belief. They were trying to use motivation to change. And motivation is only a short-term thing of willpower. You need to transform who you are in order to change. And transformation process begins with changing your beliefs. So when I was using Roy Halladay as that example, Roy went into his psychological state and was like, what is my belief of myself? His belief was, why me? I'm too young. Why me? I didn't work as hard as everybody else. And he had to change that belief to, why not me? And I'm the best, and I will be the best, and I'll go down as a legend. And so we have to hardwire our brains to create new beliefs that align with our desires. It's a neuroscience process.
I was about to say, that's hard. That sounds hard.
It's actually not once you understand the pattern, but I'll break it down very simple in a very short period of time. You identify a belief that you have that no longer aligns with your desire. You flip the belief. So instead of I fear success, I love success because I love being able to give back to people. I love being able to have freedom, time freedom, financial freedom. So you always have to align a new belief with a value proposition that you value. And then you reaffirm that. So we've all heard visualization and affirmations. So every day you visualize and affirm your new belief, what your life looks like in that new state before it becomes that state. Michael Phelps was a genius at this, by the way. As a kid, he would stand on his little ottoman in his house with fake gold medals around his neck and hear the audience cheering for him. Not one gold medal, multiple gold medals. Hear the audience cheering for him, all the cameras flashing at him. So he visualized it way before he became it. And that's part of the psychological process of transforming who you are to become who you want to be.
Or you could be a walk-on to the University of Kentucky and then go play for the Yankees and hit some of the best home runs ever because he couldn't stop telling people that he belonged. And how come I'm not up right now? And Mr. Leyritz used exactly what you said to take himself to greatness at the most pressure times. So he's another living legend and example of exactly what you're preaching.
I think it's easier when you're a kid to do that. I remember, the world was my, it was my playground. And I think I'm not just speaking for myself. I know I'm speaking for other people. The older you get, like the fear sets in. The first time I went skiing, I was like, let's go. I didn't even think. I just went right down. And I'll never forget when I became a mother, the next time I went down the hill, I froze. And I thought, this is an interesting moment because I'm scared now. And like a different kind of fear, you know what I mean? So I love this conversation. I love it.
Jimmy, you can appreciate what Jen's saying because you actually are an example, a page out of her book. That's how you kind of played the game. You didn't you had a broken foot and you just decided I'll change my batting stance. Yeah. You didn't take it as a negative.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, even after baseball and everything else I've been through, it's always the same idea as I learned from a very early age, and I don't remember who said it to me, but I was told a setback is setting you up for your biggest comeback. And that mindset is what I always thought about and especially being a baseball player, that we knew we were going to fail more than we succeeded.
Yeah.
You had to have that mindset that, okay, my path is not going to be straight. It's going to have, all different twists and turns. But the bottom line is I know where my goals are set and this is what I want to reach. And there's going to be things that knock me off that path, but I still keep that one goal in mind of what I want to reach.
Yeah.
Resiliency is a muscle. I think you'll find it interesting that my uncle, not through blood, but as my grandfather's best friend, was Vince Lombardi. And so my mom grew up with a very incredible influence in her life. And she was then obsessed with what makes good to great, and ran campaigns for politicians and did a lot of audacious things that women didn't do back in the 70s and 80s. But she had a TV show called For You and About You with Cablevision when Cablevision was first starting, before it was Comcast. And I had to sit in the TV studio after school every day, which I hated. But I believe it really programmed my subconscious mind for all of this, because during that time period, it was a current affairs show, but she'd have athletes like Tug McGraw, Pete Rose, and Vince Papale. And so from all different sports, a lot of obviously Philly people, because it was Philly region, but her conversation would constantly ask questions like, what makes somebody great? And that has been my obsession my entire adult life. And so I'm constantly trying to understand psychology more, human behavior in every aspect. Neuroscience is just on the cusp of us really understanding who we are and how our brain works. But to your point, as you get older, it gets a little bit harder. But the hopeful thing is this, that you can change the neural pathways in your brain every day until the day we die. Our brain is malleable and capable of creating new pathways, which are new beliefs or messenger systems in our brain. So once we know that, we're empowered with that knowledge, we have more optimism of how quickly we can change.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Today I believe I am going to make a wonderful dinner. I believe I'm going to be a good cook today. And I'm attaching that to a value, right?
Your family loves you cooking a great meal. You feel special.
Speaking of family, we're going to let you go because we know you're on the run today.
I need to get this book.
We'll not only get the book, we're going to have a little lunch or dinner.
The title of the book is what? Why not?
Well, you got a couple, right, Jen?
Yeah. The More Method is my latest one that really dives more into this. What If and Why Not is more the psychology of success for entrepreneurs. For anyone really, but I wrote it as an entrepreneur. Like, we have to look at our face in the mirror every day and call ourselves out on our shortcomings in order to get better. But More Method is a methodology to teach anyone at any stage of life how to get from where they are to where they want to go.
And where can we get this, Jen?
Amazon. They're both on Amazon.
Nice. Okay.
I know you're headed out to see the Mini Groovers. One's at ASU. Where's the other one at?
Yes, one's at Charleston. I just got back from College of Charleston, 2 weeks ago, right before the storm. Right. And then tomorrow I head out to ASU, which I will then also couple with the Eagles-Cardinals game.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, we miss you. We love that you came on today, and have safe travels. And we got to have you back. We need you for a whole hour, for God's sakes, on this stuff.
I would love it. That would be great.
Come up to the 973.
Right.
We'll go down to the 609.
Thanks, Jen.
All right, take care.
Safe
Thanks,
travels,
Jen.
and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. You too.
Jen Gruber.
Wow,
man.
she was great.
Yeah, she's been a friend for a long time, and she's one of those people that make a difference, Jimmy and Robin. She's out there and promoting women and giving people hope and confidence, and makes a living out of it. And, like she said, she had baby twins and wind up doing the Butler bag with this pocketbook, and sold out on QVC, and took that and just kept rolling. And now those babies are twins, and they're freshmen at Charleston and Arizona State.
The More
University.
Method, Jen Gruber.
The More Method
on Amazon.
More Method. All right,
That's
let's go
awesome.
to a quick commercial, and then when we come back, Jimmy, we'll talk more about the playoffs.
We're going to commercial break?
Let's go to commercial
That's
break.
good. We need some caffeine.
Yeah, exactly.
Caffeina. Boost, replenish, hydrate. Caffeina with your meeting, with a workout, on the go, to keep going, with a meal, with friends, to kickstart your day. Caffeina, Amazon's best-selling caffeine-infused spring water, 7+ pH balanced, electrolyte enhanced. Taste your spring water. Feel the charge.
Caffeina water, the beverage of choice for the king and the cop and the Jersey girl. Matter of fact, Vespucci's order, I think, just was delivered. Can we eat on the air? I'm starving.
You know I have misophonia, where nobody wants to hear you eat on the air.
I thought the king was going to jump in and finally realize I said Vespucci's the right way.
Well, do you want me to go get it?
You're good.
No, that's all right.
Wait, Jen, just a perfect example of the curse word before the word show. Our life is, Jen is so eloquently talking to us, and I'm so engaged in this conversation, and for so many reasons, right? And the studio door opens up, and a topless 16-year-old walks in
his underwear.
In his underwear.
So
and then gives us a little bit of an Italian
salute.
Yeah. And I couldn't take my eyes off the screen because obviously, so
speaking of Italians, you do know it's Italian Heritage Month.
All month.
I
can only celebrate though the second half.
Why is that?
Because I'm half Italian.
How do you pick the first or the second half?
I just made up the second half. I should do the first half. You're right.
You're appearing at the New Jersey Pack on October 15th. Will you be singing Mama by any chance? No, because it's not an Italian event. Throw it in there anyway.
They want to dance. They don't want to cry.
It's the Italian heritage. Make them cry.
I make Italian men cry.
You sure did.
I don't make Italian women cry.
You make a Polish Irish man cry too. Anyway, Jimmy,
I make you cry for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, one of them was the one that opened that door.
Exactly.
But something else to report on, and I'm our friend and partner in business, Vicky Ziegler, is busy working as always, but I'm going to have her on. But news, Jimmy, big time breaking news. When you were off the other day, we played a little Goodfellas clip where they say you got to go home. You got to go home to Ray Liotta, the part he's playing. Like, you got to go home to your wife. Giselle is filing for divorce, and things we've talked about, no matter what occupation you're in, Mr. Brady's off his game, and rightfully so. The guy's personal life is falling apart right now. And, forget football for a minute. They're both human beings. It's kind of sad, for whatever reason in the sports and modeling world, we rooted for them. You want to see them succeed. They were like the perfect family and perfect couple. And as an athlete, maybe you can explain, now that we had the Groover on talking about all the different psychological things you have to do with your mind. You're a human being too. So when you're going through personal problems like that, and you still have to go out on the field and play 9 innings and perform, and you're getting booed or cheered, when something like this happens to an athlete, is he checked out at a certain point?
Listen, they're 2-2. They're not playing well, and you want to say that obviously Tom Brady's been through a lot. That psychologically, like we just talked about with Jen, he should be able to distinguish the difference between the two when he's performing. But at this particular point, that fairy tale that we all thought he had, being married to this beautiful model, this great family, sometimes reality isn't what we're seeing on the surface. And
I heard she's texting Judge.
You're rotten. You really are rotten.
Too soon, Robin. Too soon.
Yeah, too soon is right. But
God forbid.
The thing is, she was worth like $400 million when they got married. She was worth a lot more than him. This is a powerful woman, to our point of our last guest, and we don't know what went on behind closed doors. And some people are saying, including me, you should go home and save your marriage. Truth of the matter is, they obviously were having troubles, and he probably said, screw it. If this is going to go this way, I'm going to go home, do what I want to do, and play. And because he retired, if you remember, and that might have been her choice. And then he didn't like that choice. So he said, she said, well, we're done. And going back.
You know, guys, quite frankly, I'm actually surprised that they lasted as long as they did.
Why?
Because truth be told, back to talking about the Aaron Judge thing, not wanting him to change, these people live in a parallel universe. It's not a normal universe. It's surrounded by being able to do anything you want to do with an endless pot of money and a different world that we're used to. So I don't believe Hollywood relationships can survive, and I just don't think, I think they're already up against a losing battle, or I
think you're
just
right.
don't think, I just don't.
Well,
And
Jimmy-
then add the fact that they're both gorgeous. They're not looking in the same mirror as most of us are looking in. And I'm surprised that they, made it that long.
Jimmy, I got to ask you this question because you lived in Florida, but there's two things here. You married a woman now that you're going to live happily ever after with, and she didn't even know anything about baseball and who the hell you were, right? So to Robin's point. And then the other thing is Giselle, whether it's true or not, released a statement saying since they moved to Florida, he's completely changed. He goes to the supermarket with no shirt on. I don't know if this is true or not. Like he became this really, like his ego got bigger and bigger.
Midlife crisis too. Men go through that. He'll get a motorcycle.
Yeah, but
he'll be like Harley.
They were building a $40 million home together.
He's got a gumad.
He's got a gumad. But I don't know. Who knows? But you were better off meeting Michelle, is to Robin's point, who knew nothing about you. Nothing, zero, or about baseball.
I mean, the bottom line is no matter what it is, no matter what they decide, whether they go through with it, this sort of thing or not, the bottom line is you just want to make sure the kids are good.
Right.
And, hopefully, despite some of the anger, some of the things, that they keep that in mind and they do a good job of raising the kids together more than anything else. I could care less if they ever stay together, if they get back together, whatever.
Yeah. As
long as they make sure that those kids are going to be their center point and the most important thing, because
I think they will.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have so much money is going to make that a little easier too. I'm sorry, but a lot of, divorce,
what money comes power.
Divorce couples that co-parent, whatever, they fight a lot. A lot of the fighting is about money. That's what I'm saying. You could just take that off the list for those two. You know what I mean?
Well, he does have a $350 million contract with Fox. He's going to go on and be an announcer after this. So he won't be eating cornflake sandwiches either. And he also, his oldest son is with Bridget Monahan, one of my favorite son, Blue.
Oh, yeah.
There. So he knows how to co-parent, and Giselle co-parents. They complement each other so well, how they help each other. But, listen, nobody's rooting against it. Whatever, it's their business, but it won't be their business. It will be on the front and back pages of every tabloid and every sports page. And if he doesn't win, Giselle will be being blamed in Tampa. She won't be allowed in Florida if they don't win. But who knows? Maybe they'll work it out. Jimmy, I watched Aaron Judge give his mom the ball the other night when he tied the record, which was great. And then, Rob, I don't know if you know this. I think a guy works for Fisherman Price, whatever the investment group is, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and he's a hedge fund guy, and he's the one who caught the ball last night. So people are right away he don't need the money. How do you know what he needs?
The rich get richer.
The rich get richer. But his wife is a broadcaster and down in the Dallas area. And so they're celebrating that. Somebody already offered $2 million for the ball. I don't know how you give that ball back when somebody's offering you at a minimum $2 million. And class again, Judge said, yeah, I would love to have the ball back, but it's a souvenir and that fan deserves it. He paid for a seat and he caught it and he deserves it. The funny part was the clown that, or not, if it would have worked out, jumped into the bullpen. I don't know how he didn't break his leg. I have the hope that the ball ricocheted off somebody and landed there and he would have picked it up.
I love it.
It was smart and he didn't get hurt. But
he saw the Toronto fan that reached over and just missed. He said, okay, I'm going to jump down there and get it because it's going to come down here possibly.
That's right. And so security went right there and got the gentleman. And asked him, "What are you going to do with the ball?" And he said, "I'm not sure yet." And smart enough to know he had to get out of that stadium and sleep on it. And I think he'll get more than $2 million for it. So,
Well, why would you sell it if you know?
Well, if I don't know, we don't
Actually,
know.
I'd sell it.
They're assuming, but like, what are you going to do with it? Have it sit on how long can it be a talking piece?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't need the money, sell it and give it the money to charity or do whatever you want to do. But it's those balls. Jimmy, I asked you this the other day. Why isn't the bat worth more than the ball? And he's got the bat.
Right. Well, and that's what I think. If you're Aaron Judge, you go, yeah, the ball's great, but you know what? The bat is the one I hit it with. I'm going to keep this for myself.
Yeah.
And I still have a part of history, for myself that I'll donate to the Hall of Fame and let them display it and then get it back whenever I want it. And of course he still has the jersey. He has the spikes. He has
right.
The whole thing. The ball is just another piece of the puzzle.
More importantly, he's got the memory of actually doing it. That never goes away, right? The moment.
They were also talking about not only does that moment belong to him, we watched the Roger Maris video and home run for 60-something years now.
Can I actually say something about a video we were watching?
Sure.
We put on a few weeks ago the Babe, right?
Yeah.
Hitting a home run. Babe. Didn't we?
Roger Maris.
I thought it was Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Anyway, he was heavy.
Oh, Babe was heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
So that I have a question about that.
Yeah.
The game had to be different because you couldn't be that heavy right now.
No, it was much different.
So
didn't he hit more home runs in 1 year than the entire league did, right?
What's that?
Babe Ruth hit more home runs in 1 year than the entire league did.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like he was. I'm being nice when I say the word heavy.
Well, he was a big man. He was just a big man.
And you had players back then that big. How's that possible? They couldn't have been fast then.
I think he was a freak of nature, right, Jimmy? He was a pitcher, and he was just a big man.
It just struck me.
Well, what's funny is
I would have never thought he was that fat.
You got a great point.
I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm fat shaming Babe Ruth. Who does that?
I don't know. Aaron Judge is a huge man for baseball. And that's part of the people think he's going to break down and get hurt, and he has in the past. Although he's in shape, he took a picture with the linebacker from Dallas. What's his name yesterday? Jimmy, you told number 11 on the Cowboys, the linebacker. I'm drawing a blank.
Sure.
Como se llama?
Micah Parsons?
Parsons. The Parsons came on the field last night because it was in Texas and took a picture with him.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Judge dwarfed him. I mean, here's an NFL stud, and he dwarfed him. He was like,
I took a picture of him with him at the U.S. Open tennis, about 4 or 5 years back, and the only other person that's made me look smaller in a picture is Shaq, and we know how big he is. But even Judge made me look like I was a little dwarf.
Well, I always say to Shaq when we're together, and if we do a picture together, I say, "Can you please not put your hand on my shoulder?"
Yeah,
because you don't see my shoulder. And I'm 6 foot and 235. It's not like I'm a little guy. I mean, I don't. But to your point, there was nobody else that looked like Babe Ruth back then.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Nobody.
I mean,
no. I mean, and Lou Gehrig looked like a stud.
It just struck me very. Like wow, that's a legendary baseball player, and he's heavy.
Yeah, he was. The Babe was different. The Babe was.
He looked like the Andre the Giant from WWF.
Exactly right.
Exactly
right.
F.
Whatever.
F.
WWF. Andre the Giant. Boy, I'm impressed. But
that's not a real sport.
How about
I'm not gonna. I not only did I just fat shame Babe, I'm literally equating him to a bash wrestling.
Did you know who Ivan Putski was?
No, but that's all.
He was a wrestler that used to wrestle on.
I know Roddy Piper,
Polish,
and of course Hulk Hogan, but that's all just theater. That's acting.
Hulk lived down by you for a while, didn't he, Jimmy? Wasn't he down in Dade County or
he was in Tampa?
Tampa. Oh, that's right. He's in Clearwater now. That's right. He's our friend there, Ben Mala. But,
I don't know.
So where let's do a little pick, Jimmy. We got about 7 minutes to go. who do you like in the Mets San Diego series? I mean, all 3 games, it's an advantage or home, or is, you got DeGrom and Max going, or are they going to be ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have those guys ready. The bottom line is, they're playing the Padres, which right now are playing pretty well, and Yu Darvish has had the Mets number.
Yeah, he sure has.
And between Darvish and Blake Schmidt now, if you're looking at things right now on the way the season has ended, DeGrom's last 3 starts have not been good. Scherzer, his last start wasn't very good.
Nope.
And Blake Snell and Darvish have been pitching well. So if you're a Mets fan, you get to be a little bit worried. But I always say the same thing. This is why I pay these guys the big money. This is why Scherzer gets $43 million. It's for not the end of the season. It's for when it counts. And yes, it counted against the Braves. They didn't get it done because the Braves are the hottest team in the world right now. But I think they get it done against the Padres.
I think so, but I don't think it's going to be easy going, like you said. And Soto has done absolutely really nothing for the Padres. You just hope that he doesn't get hot all of a sudden, because he seems like the kind of kid that likes the Broadway lights. Oh, yeah. And, if he turns it on, then you got what's so funny, Miss Delory?
I'm dying laughing right now because we can hear Jimmy, obviously, yeah. Right? But I was going to attempt to repeat everything he said to make it look like when you hear me, like, Jimmy, DeGrom, both DeGrom and Scherzer, they really didn't do well their last time at on the mound, right? So if I were a Mets fan, I would be probably worried right now. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm taking his credit for saying these things, pretending I know what I'm talking about, so that my kids can think I know what I'm talking about. So I had this visual of everything he's saying, and then I repeat it, and then somebody who hears me thinks I know what I'm talking about.
Right. Very
so
good. I'm glad we're here to please you and better yourself among your children.
Well, I thought about it, like if you, some of my friends, like they used to be on like Match.com. Well, one of my friends, right? And if she was going on a date, I would take everything you guys are saying and tell her to say that. If she wanted to be into like baseball.
How'd she make out with Match.com?
She got married. She got married, and she's a beautifully happy Donna. A big Jimmy Leyritz fan.
Yeah, Jimmy knows Donna. She couldn't wait to get her picture taken with him when we went to the foundation dinner.
She couldn't wait. She loves her Jimmy Leyritz.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna plagiarize everything he says so that I can look like I know what I'm talking about.
Jimmy wasn't married at that time, and she wasn't. If Jimmy was on Match.com, maybe she would have had a shot.
Jimmy was absolutely married, and she was in
not when they met. I'm saying back in the day.
Oh.
Anyway, yes.
Before I get you in trouble, before I get a text
with our wild card coming up, I mean, we got the Mets, and we got obviously San Diego, and in the American League, you got Tampa Bay and the Guardians, and the winner of that will play the Yankees. That'll be interesting.
Who do you like there? Who do you like? I mean, to me, that's like a whole hum. I don't even want to watch it. Like, I'm bored. Tampa's hot, though. They got hot.
Yeah, Tampa Bay does not play well on the road.
Yeah.
They definitely don't play well on the road, Tampa Bay.
And Cleveland is now, with the year that they've had, they're playing some pretty good baseball. And
Terry Francona, right?
Terry Francona has the experience of the postseason, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. And I think, if I'm the Yankees, I do have the better draw because playing either Tampa or Cleveland is probably better than playing the other two that are on the other side. If I'm Houston, I'm a little more worried, but because with Toronto and why am I drawing a blank? Toronto and who's Toronto playing?
Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. Toronto and it's
who's Toronto playing?
You're supposed to know this stuff. Well, the Guardians are playing
Tampa Bay,
and then
Joe, who's Toronto playing?
We got to come out of the West. Geez, Jimmy,
they're playing the Blue Jays.
No,
I
that
just
is
made it up. I just totally made that up.
No.
Aren't they the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Toronto?
Yeah. Good job. Sammy,
Oh, I'm just gonna go right.
Oh, they're playing the Mariners. The Mariners.
The
right.
Mariners. I didn't even know there was still a team called the Mariners.
that's why, because they
What-
haven't been in the playoffs in how many years? 16 years?
Yeah. This is the first time they've been back in quite a while. And listen, they're going to be. I think the Mariners are going to be the team to beat.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually great for the Yankees because I think the Mariners have a better chance of knocking off Houston than anybody does.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a good series. It's going to be, you got J-Rod and Luis Castillo.
Well, he's
for the
back, right?
Mariners.
J-Rod's back. He's going to be out in the outfield, not DHing. So
Yeah,
we'll see how he steps up as a rookie.
Jimmy, you know what I forgot to ask you? What's your favorite thing to eat at Yankee Stadium?
They have a really good tri-tip sandwich.
All right.
Yeah, that's you get it in the MVP suites. It's
Ooh,
pretty good.
fancy. So everybody who's watching, most of you will never get a chance to eat it.
No,
But
the
if you do,
The MVP suites are for sections in the 100 level. It's
Yeah.
not.
Oh.
It's
You've been
not
downstairs.
it's not legends and it's not the big suites. It's it's for actually the regular fan. So
For the regular guy. Jimmy,
if you
before-
want to spend it's free.
Yeah, we were talking before. Besides your World Series rings, what's your favorite piece of item? Like Judge is going to want to lend it back to the Hall of Fame. He's going to give the shirt to his mother. What's your favorite thing that you still have?
Well, I would say, listen, anytime you can have a bat or a ball from one of your home runs or one of your famous things, it's great. My most prized possession probably, my father just passed in June, was the ball that I gave him my first hit ever in the major leagues.
That's great.
To me, that's something I cherish because that's an accomplishment that my dad and I started when I was 15 years old, and we made it come true. And anything else that happened after that was just icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
I got the chills with that one.
Yeah. It's not, and I can understand. And from my world, I wore my father's badge when I came on the job. They gave me his badge, and as I got promoted, I tried to wear the same badge. And so it's you don't forget those days. Well, it's been a great Wednesday. It's been a historic day for Yankee fans. Now we got to gear up. It will always be a historic year, regardless of how they do in the playoffs. They're not playing like they were playing at the beginning of the year. So, anything could happen during the playoffs, but we need pitching. But when we leave, and I listened to that call of John Sterling over and over, I wanted to go to let our listeners and people watch one of my all-time favorites, because like people say, I knew exactly where I was when this happened. And it was early in the morning, as they say. So we're going to go off the air. For Jimmy Leyritz, the King, Robin Delory, and myself, Tommy Setner, have a safe day. That's a wrap. Watch this great video and listen.
Swung on.
The anniversary was yesterday.
It sure was.
It is far. It is gone. A two-run game-winning home run by Jimmy Leyritz, and the Yankees have won the game in 15. 7-5.
You still get chills.
Yankees win. The Yankees win. Leyritz is flying around the bases. He high-fives Strawberry. They're mobbing him at home plate. They're absolutely mobbing Jim Leyritz at home plate. He goes down to the ground. You got to see the Yankees. They're behind home plate. They got the biggest smiles on their face. You cannot believe how this team is reacting. A team that doesn't show much emotion is going absolutely ballistic. Jim Leyritz with a game-winning home run. What a moment at the stadium. This is one of the greatest games I've ever seen. It's one of the greatest games ever played. What a game.
Goodbye, everybody. Jimmy Leyritz, that's why he's the king.
See you Friday.
Happy anniversary, Jimmy.
Happy anniversary, pal.
Back to the wall.